Okay, group number 2. Remember how we just read the book Little Turtle and the Changing Sea? And in the story, we learned a little bit more about the changes that happened to Turtle's home. Who could tell me what happened to Turtle's home in the story? That's right, it was dirty with a lot of trash that didn't belong there. So in today's Literacy Center, we're going to learn about what happens when we don't put our trash where it belongs, and how it ends up in the ocean and how long it could last there for. And when trash is in the ocean, remember that makes Turtle very, very sad. So as a group, you will all be recreating a timeline from the text about how long it takes trash to decompose in the ocean. This timeline is going to be found in the back of the story, something we didn't read out loud together. So in the center, I'm going to give you all a handout, and I'm going to give you the handout outlined with the 5 steps that you need to complete during this activity. So let's go over them together. So step number 1 is to read the passages. How does plastic hurt marine life? How long does it last? And what you can do to help. I put the passages on the handout itself for you all to read, but you also are going to get a copy of the book for you all to read together. Those are these 3 passages right here. Step number 2 is with your group members, I want you to read and sort through the object cards and the time span cards that you're given. So I'm going to give you a stack of time span cards and object cards, and they're going to be all jumbled up, so I need you to sort through them. So you are going to match each object to the time span that it shows in the text here. So make sure you refer to the text so you get it correctly on what object lasts for how long in the ocean. How long does it take to break down to nothing in the ocean? Some of the objects take a very long time. So that's step number 2. Step number 3 is on a poster board, you're going to recreate that timeline. And you're going to use your tape and your glue to attach the time span cards and the object cards to the timeline. So I have the poster board here for you all, and I already drew the line. So now all you all need to do is you need to pick a object with its matching time, and you're going to attach that to the correct place on the timeline. And you're going to refer back to your book to make sure it's in the right place. Then you're going to have some of those objects right there in front of you. So here I have the plastic straw object card. And maybe that lasts for 200 years in the ocean. I'm going to use my glue and my tape to attach the plastic straws to the timeline in the correct area next to the card. So you're going to do that for every object that you have. You're also going to be using your crayons and markers in drawing and illustrating some of the marine life that these objects affect. So you're going to read how plastic hurts marine life in the text here, and it might mention dolphins, it might mention crabs, it might mention whales, and I want you to draw those marine life, those different marine life on your timeline here. So that, my friends, is step number 4. And lastly, step number 5 is after discussing with your group the passage, what you can do to help. So I want you to talk with your group members on some of the things that it mentions here in the text, what you can do to help. I want you to reflect and think, what am I going to do in my everyday life to help save the ocean from pollution? And I want you to write a few sentences here on your handout. And I want those sentences to be complete and nice and neat. Does everyone understand what we're doing in today's Literacy Center? Very good. So for this literacy center, I have it set for my medium level readers because it's going to require some synthesizing and reading of information from the text. Students will be recreating the timeline that is found in the text, but they're also going to have to reflect on it. They're going to be reading, sorting, matching, recreating, discussing, and reflecting within this activity, and those are all skills that medium level readers can demonstrate. The ELA standard that I have set for this lesson is going to be to use illustrations and words within the text to relate to the text setting, plot, and characters. And that is exactly what this activity is demonstrating. The plot of the story has to do with Turtle's home being affected by pollution, by trash, and students will be drawing those illustrations on their poster board. They're going to be using examples from the text, and they're going to be handling the items and attaching them to the poster board. And these are all items that are illustrated in the story as well. Students will be assessed on 4 levels of performance during this activity, or 4 areas, They will first be graded on their participation within the group. They help their group members. Second, they'll be assessed on their accuracy of completing all the necessary steps and the matching of the objects on the time span, if it's matched correctly, if it's placed in the correct area on the time span. Students will also be assessed on their contribution to the group's discussion on the topic, what they can do to help. And lastly, they will be assessed on their sentence activity, on their reflection, a complete and thoughtful reflection on what they can do every day to help save the ocean from pollution. And that is the activity that I have set for my medium level readers.